Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Glue Glue podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle, and Brush is back with me again today, and we're here to review Wolves against United, which was another hard fought victory at Molineux. United making hard work of it, as they always do, um, and that's if they win. Sometimes we lose at Molineux as well, and no matter where they are in the table, it's always a struggle. And the first thing that we have to talk about is that Rashford was dropped to the bench because he slept in and arrived late for a team meeting. He then came off the bench and scored one goal. Should have maybe had another goal, but we'll get into it. So, what was your thoughts on the game yesterday, Brush, and Rashford in particular?
First of all, I think I can relate totally to Marcus, considering we were supposed to start at 12 noon today. And I've totally just wasted the last hour and a half because I overslept. But yeah, on to that matter, I think Eric Ten Hag handled it very, very well. I've been very impressed with his handling of everything, especially the disciplinary side of things. It sets out a clear example for everyone to follow, and it shows that you can't break the rules no matter who you are. But at the same time, that also doesn't mean he's going to freeze you out. He's still going to give you chances. And what a way for Marcus to respond.
Yeah, brilliant. And nice to see them embrace each other at the end.
Yeah, that was the thing as well, Carl. Like even when he scored, when it panned into Eric on the sideline, it just looked like a proud dad that was celebrating his son scoring.
Yeah, I love to see passion from the manager on the
Yeah,
touchline. You know, we haven't always seen that from recent United managers. Van Gaal in particular. Writing notes when he's sitting on the bench, and
Van Gaal didn't have too many emotions, did he?
no, and even Ollie sitting with his legs crossed, watching a monitor on the dugout. It wasn't inspiring. Love to see a
It
manager.
it makes all the difference when they're animated, and it's makes us feel like they're one of us. Like it's the kind of things we do when we're watching the game, usually yelling stuff and just tinkering.
Yeah, definitely, and I love the wild celebrations on the bench as well. So yeah, brilliant individual goal by Rashford. He showed great balance, great strength, and a fantastic finish. And then he had another chance as well, or
Mm.
another goal. Sorry, where he wriggled away from the defender, got a shot away, saved by the keeper, and then it bounced off him and into the net. But the rule is these days that if it touches your hand, even if it's accidental and it goes into the net, then the goal is ruled out, and that rule is an ass.
It's
And
stupid, isn't it? Because I could understand if it hits his hand and it changes the trajectory of the ball. But if you remove his hand from the situation, it still hits a part of his body and goes in the exact same way.
and that's twice this season that has happened to Rashford. It also
Yeah,
happened with Goodison as well, which is
yeah, yeah.
a joke. Now he really should have. He has 11 goals a season. He really should be 13. That rule just really does my head. And again, just like at Everton, it almost led to us drawing the game. Because we're under the cosh at the very end. And De Gea had to make another point blank save. He
Hmm.
burst it out, and then I think Maguire sliced it into the stands. I think if it was Phil Jones, he would have buried it into the bottom corner. But yeah, De Gea, brilliant save from Ruben Neves' free kick as well. So another good afternoon for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, anytime Ruben Neves sets up for a set piece, it's worrying times. And it was an interesting game for De Gea yesterday because there was large parts where he didn't have much to do, but then when he was called upon, he turned up.
Yeah, it wasn't like a vintage De Gea display where he made 8 or 9 saves. He was there when he was needed.
But the ones that he made were imperative, and it secured 3 points for us.
Yeah, and the back four were excellent yesterday. One of the real standout moments from the defence for me was that last stitch block from Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Mm.
Um, Brilliant defending. Shaw just seemingly looks comfortable at centre back alongside
He's just
Varane.
taken like a duck to water to that position, hasn't he? With his size as well and his fearlessness, the way he was going up against Diego Costa, it almost made me think, oh, I wonder if he's taken tips off Lissandro in training.
Yeah, it has been mentioned in the last 24 hours that Luke Shaw is probably the most similar defender to Martinez, and maybe that's
Mm.
why Ten Hag is selecting him there. Certainly, it's a message to Maguire and Lindelof that they are very much fourth and fifth choice now if Shaw is going to be playing ahead of them.
Yeah,
Um,
most definitely. Because I thought midweek, is a bit random, but maybe it's a fitness issue. But now I think he probably, I think he likes a settled team. That's the other thing. And he doesn't want to change too much, and also probably wanted to reward Shaw for his good performance as well.
yeah, absolutely. But me personally, I want to see Shaw back at left back because
Yeah.
I don't think Malacia is playing terribly well at the moment.
Mm. He
Um,
did make one challenge towards the end though, which was quite good. Malacia. The only time Shaw worried me yesterday was there was one time in the second half where he started to make a marauding run forward, and we'd lost possession, and I was like, oh no, he's not going to get back in time. And then Fred had to slide in and make a tactical foul.
yeah, there was a counter attack on for Wolves where I think it was Anthony who got back,
Mm,
and that was crucial. Yeah, yeah. So come back to Malasia, yeah, he was very sloppy, giving the ball away a lot. Too many crosses were coming in from that side. Um, I think he's a good backup for Shaw. He started off magnificently this season, brilliant, but his form has definitely dipped. But we have to expect that from a young player coming to a new league and to step up in quality from what he's used to in the Eredivisie. So yeah, we have to be patient with him. But Shaw should be first choice left back for me, and hopefully Martinez goes back in for the next one. I did think that Martinez would come back in for this game,
mm.
but for whatever reason he didn't. But you fully expect him to come in against Bournemouth because we really miss Shaw's overlapping runs on the left hand side, and his crossing ability is fantastic. So Malacia and Wan Bissaka really don't offer what Dallo and Shaw do going forward, do they?
No, they don't. But at the same time, like you said with Malassi, he's still very young. First season in the league, it's a big step up for him. And we'll have to talk about the other guy that's come over from the Eredivisie as well, and his perceived struggles at the moment. And then as for Wan-Bissaka, I mean, we all completely wrote him off, didn't we? The fact that Eric's even managed to breathe any kind of life into him is credit to him, and to the player as well for keeping his head down and never giving up and working. So yeah, it's one of those. Our squad is so thin, Kyle. That honestly, I wouldn't let anyone go this month.
Yeah, we'll get on to that later in the show, but
Yeah.
yeah, Varane, brilliant again. He made a crucial header at the end at the back post.
Mm,
There was two Wolves players jumping against him, and he managed to get a head on it, which obviously prevented them from scoring an almost certain goal, and went out for a corner. So, but another very very solid display from him, and Luke Shaw, judging by his interview, enjoyed playing alongside Varane as well. And
mm.
he said it was good communication from Rafa during the game. And he said Rafa gave him advice before the game as well. Um, yeah, just the only issue with Varane is how long is he going to stay fit for? But when he's fit and available, he's just second to none in the Premier League.
Absolutely, and he's come on leaps and bounds from last season as well. Initially, I thought Martinez definitely helped his game, but now we're seeing that even without Martinez there, he's the one taking responsibility. He's the one stepping up and guiding others as well. So he's got that in his locker.
Yeah, and he's going to be crucial without Martinez in the new camp as well. I'll be interested to see who partners for Varane in the new camp. And
Yeah, it's a very interesting one actually because this Shaw thing came out of nowhere. So yeah, it gives us something interesting to think about now going forward.
yeah, certainly does. So you mentioned the forwards earlier on who are not in good form.
Mm.
Now, for me, only one forward is playing well at the moment, and that's Rashford. He didn't even
Yeah.
start the game. Um, Martial, I don't think he was terribly good yesterday. I think you mentioned this in the last show that he looks like he's lost maybe half a yard of pace.
Oh, you think he's lost a lot of pace as he has. He's lost a lot of pace. He looks off the boil. But I mean, it's one of those things where we haven't got an alternative, so you have to just entrust and go with him until such a time where we can address that.
Yeah, he is struggling. Rashford got those two goals yesterday. Obviously,
Mm,
one that didn't count. Through absolute hunger and desire, we're not seeing that from Martial. He's not getting,
yes, and
and he,
also the other thing as well within that finish, um, he showed certain attributes that we've not seen from Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, who isn't confident, doesn't have the composure or strength to beat off those people, or that sheer determination to get to it first. Like there was no point at which I was confused or ever in doubt that he was going to mess that up yesterday. Whereas in previously, you're kind of wondering, oh, his decisions making is not the best. Maybe he'll try and take one touch too many and he'll fumble. But what did you make of the goal?
the goal that was given.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we can discuss both.
Yeah, brilliant. I just love the tenacity, just his balance, his strength to hold off the
Mm.
defender, and then the finish. He just absolutely buried it.
Even
Um,
the second one, Carl, absolutely sheer determination, sheer dogged determination. It came out. It was something from nothing.
yeah, he wriggled free of the defender, got a shot away, good save by the goalkeeper, and then it rebounded off him because he was in the right position at the right time.
Hmm.
Martial not showing that desire at the moment to get into those positions. Looks far too casual and looks off the pace. And very, very lucky to play as long as he did yesterday. And another man who's struggling at the moment is Anthony.
Mm,
A lot of people are saying he's a one-trick pony. He's makes it easier to defend
mm,
against because defenders know what he's going to do. He never goes down the line, and he was very, very disappointing yesterday. Every time we get into a good area in the attacking third, he didn't do anything with it. And then one of the worst moments of the whole game between the two of them, Martial and Anthony, was that chance at the end of the first half. Martial
yeah.
should have scored, and Anthony definitely should have scored. That was an absolute joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The only bright spark in attack during that first half for me was the young kid Garnacho.
Yeah, he must have felt aggrieved to be substituted at halftime, given how
Mm,
poor the other two were.
I don't know. I think he would have been chuffed to start the game and be given 45 minutes. And it was literally just a tactical thing, isn't it? I don't think it was anything that he did wrong as to why he came off. Yeah. And his chance as well, that was brilliant. I would like to think that in time, as he matures a bit, he'll keep composure and maybe take on the keeper or do something different to what he did. But for his age, I'm just pleased that he was in the right place at the right time and managed to get the shot off.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad attempt at a finish. I think the
No,
goalkeeper made a really good save. Actually,
this is another thing that Jose Sa was very good yesterday on several occasions.
because it wasn't straight at him.
No, no.
Garnacho did try to curl it around him. He just got a big long arm to dig it out and prevent it from going in. But Garnacho, maybe he could have went round the keeper and then rolled it in.
Yeah.
That could have been an
Yeah,
option.
that's
But
that composure and stuff that comes with age, I think, and a bit of experience.
yeah, yes, that was a big chance as well. It was another one of those games, particularly in the first half, where we were wasting chance after chance. We just don't
Yeah.
have the ruthlessness at the moment.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I mean, what I'm taking encouragement from is the fact that we are consistently creating chances now. Because that's the important thing. If you're consistently creating chances, the goals will come. Um, Obviously, there might need to be one or two personnel changes as well, but it gives me a lot of hope going forward that when they do get that right, we are going to start destroying teams.
Yeah, and I think once we get that number nine,
Mm,
that he's going to get 20 goals a season,
yeah.
then we really will start racking up big score lines against teams.
Mm, mm,
Um, so given how poor Anthony and Martial are playing, and we're solely reliant on Rashford and Garnacho at the moment,
mm.
um, do you think it might be a good idea to bring Ahmad back from Sunderland this month? What do you think about that?
Potentially, I think with that one, it depends what they plan to do with Ilanga. The thing with Ahmad, I know he's been doing very well at Sunderland, um, but the kid's been moved around here, there, and everywhere. He's never had like a consistent, solid full season under his belt. So I wonder if it's better to leave him where he is for his own development. it might be one of those things where it might benefit us as well if he has a full season. Because he's in the first team there, he's doing his thing. He comes to us, he's going to be on the bench. He's going to be a rotation option. I don't know. I don't know if I want to disrupt that mid-season.
Yeah, I totally get what you're talking about. Yeah, you don't want to stagnate his development.
Yeah.
But we're in dire need of bodies at the moment who can
Mm,
score goals.
hmm.
So I'll back whatever decision Ten Hag makes on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. The
I
thing is, though, with Anthony, I mean, he's still very young. He's only 22 years old, and we have seen in the early days some of the qualities he does have. So obviously, it's something that Eric has to work on. And he's a player he knows from Ajax. So I have every faith that that can be sorted. And also the other thing, the other reason I would leave Ahmad alone, is that there is someone else who could potentially be like a new signing for us when he comes back, Jaden Sancho.
Yeah, I almost forgot about him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the forgotten man at the moment. We don't really know what's happening with him, but I hope he gets his mind and body right. And listen, if Wan-Bissaka can come back and rejuvenate himself, I have no doubts that Jaden Sancho can.
yeah, that's a good point. But there's no time frame for his comeback.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing as well with him when they do bring him back. I mean, potentially he's an option on the right.
Yeah, he certainly is. He can be an option anywhere across the front three. Actually, a
Yeah.
lot of his goals have come down the middle,
Hmm.
so he could play as a false nine as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
we really do need options at the moment. So if he could,
absolutely. And I've got no real confidence about the January market, what we're going to do. So we might have to just rely on what we have.
yeah, the club might persist with this, loan offer for Felix, and Memphis Depay potentially as well. Looking at yesterday and how he struggled to put the
Yeah.
ball in the back of the net, I think I would go for the 6 month loan of Memphis
Mm.
Depay. Would you?
Yeah, yeah, I would absolutely take Depay. I'd take Depay all day currently. His versatility as well, the fact that he can play across all three of the front positions. The Felix one, I'm skeptical about because I know they want £8 million as a loan fee, and I think that's ridiculous for half a season.
Yeah, United will obviously have to try and negotiate that down if it's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Or if that is in there, you'd have to at least have an option to buy outright.
Yeah, I mean, if Felix arrived in January and he had an amazing, 5 months, then
Mm.
we'd probably want to buy him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's the thing because if he comes and he takes to it like a duck to water and really gets going, if you don't have a fee agreed, then that's problematic because they'll want to up the price.
yeah, definitely. So I'm sure knowing United, it'll drag on to the 31st of January, where
Yeah,
Liverpool make signings the day before the New Year's
the window
Eve.
starts.
Yeah, whereas United will it'll still be trying to do
The
deals.
11th hour at the end of the month. Yeah, yeah. Might see the
Yeah,
return of Igalo.
and that was a deal that was done right at the end of the window.
Yeah, and it
Um,
was a strange one at the time as well because obviously we knew about COVID and he was coming from China. Because you remember, because we signed him and then he was
to isolate, yeah.
in isolation. Yeah,
Yeah, so before we continue, if everyone can please subscribe to the channel, drop us a wee like on the video, and comment your thoughts in the live chat. And we've been joined by Eagle Eyed Football, Red Devils Down Under, and Ed Marshall. So Red Devils Down Under says Anthony was used to Ajax. United aren't that fluent in his style yet. We need patience. Ayrton Hag at the helm. I have full faith. Yeah, we have to give Anthony time, but just at the moment, we really need other options because we're relying on Rashford to score goals, and there's no one else really providing them. Ed Marshall says we didn't test him enough, struggled so much to create as usual for Wolves. I thought we had a lot of chances, particularly in the first half, and didn't take them. We just not
yeah,
clinical enough
and
at the
that's
moment.
the thing, Ed, with Wolves. I mean, you guys definitely made it very frustrating for us, and I thought you would. I thought that would be the game plan. The problem with them is I don't think they have a particular focal point. You don't know where the goals are coming from.
Oh, does he? Oh, does Ed
He's a
Marshall
Wolves
mean
fan.
that
Yeah,
he's mean
yeah,
that Wolves struggle to create? Oh, okay.
yeah. It's a Wolves fan.
Okay, yeah, they don't. They've very few goals this season. I think I think I seen the stat yesterday. How many games have been played so far? Um, Only what if they like 13 goals in 16 games or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
You
and
know,
I don't think Costa scored for them yet.
yeah, he's got a red card, but he hasn't got a goal.
Mm.
So yeah, that's not very good. Yeah, they're gonna be in a relegation battle this season. It seems.
Yeah,
Um, Lapategi, he's very animated on the touchline, isn't he? I was,
very.
I was like, he was doing a lot of crying yesterday. I know, appealing for a lot of decisions that he had no right to appeal for. Every single foul that was given in favour of United, he was crying about it. And it was a wee bit annoying. But and then he's coming after the referee after the game and all that. They were the ones that benefited from the big VAR decision. So no, I wasn't really buying into that. So I mean, sometimes really animated managers that are you know managing the opposition team against United can annoy me, and he was one of those.
I
But
mean, like from a Wolves perspective, I mean, I'm sure they love to see it because you want your manager coming in to be fighting for everything and show a bit of passion.
yeah, it's like we said earlier, we like that from Ten Hag. We
Yeah,
want to see managers on the touchline kicking every ball, and I'm sure Wolves fans appreciate him. So Red Devils Down Under says Wolves have been one of those most frustrating opponents for United for the last few years. Absolutely,
yeah,
they
I'll go as far as to say they're a bit of a bogey team for us for sure.
yeah. I don't think we've you know if we either lose by the odd goal, we win by the odd goal, or we
Yeah,
draw
yeah, they've
nil nil.
never made it comfortable for us. It's always a battle.
Yeah, I think the only time in my lifetime I think we thrashed Wolves where at Molineux was 2012.
Yeah,
When,
that would have been like the Ebanks Blake era. He was
yeah,
he was one of ours that played for them.
it was that season where Valencia was absolutely on fire for United,
Yeah.
um, and we lost the league to the Aguero moment.
Mm.
But I think we won about 5-0 at Molineux that season. But apart from that, I can't remember winning there by more than one goal.
Mm.
Uh, Last season was quite similar to well, actually, it wasn't. As we last season we won 1-0 there, but I think Wolves dominated in large spells of that game.
Mm.
Yesterday it wasn't quite like that. It was just United being wasteful. Um, but yeah, it's always a struggle. It's always a battle. Even at Old Trafford, didn't they win 1-0 at Old Trafford last Christmas? Didn't they, Wolves? Yeah, it's never an easy opponent for us. Bogey
Yeah, it's
team, like
very
you
good.
say.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
just hope that these missed chances don't come back to bite us in games because obviously we've gotten away with it, like you said, at Goodison and here. We've come away with all three, but it could have very easily been 2 points dropped unnecessarily.
yeah, it's the type of game that we wouldn't have won in recent
Hmm.
seasons. And we had to, if we want to finish in the top four, we have to win games like this. So
Absolutely.
it's really pleasing that we have, and we're on course to get the maximum points over the Christmas period. Which, when do we ever do that? So you like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
think,
and the way the table's shaping up as well, it's all there for the taking.
yeah, it's good to see teams like City and Newcastle dropping points as well.
Mm.
Um, so that's helpful to us, and hopefully Spurs continue to drop points and we can get in there. It feels as if strange ways. Before yesterday, Spurs were above us. Um, Yet it feels like we're having a better season than what they are. It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And also Arsenal take on Newcastle on Tuesday, so that's a big game.
It is absolutely. And someone's going to drop points there, or both of them are. So
Yeah.
it's going to give us another opportunity.
Yeah, again, it's a chance for us to capitalize. And then like you mentioned a bit earlier, the two key games for us this month come straight after that. It's Man City, then Arsenal back to back.
Yeah, just want to get out of those two games unbeaten. I would
Yeah,
take. Um, I wouldn't mind 4 points, but if we
yeah,
got two, that would be okay. Just as
yeah.
long as we don't we
Listen,
don't
four
lose.
points would be an absolute dream. I would take that right now.
Yeah, snap your hand off immediately for
Yeah.
those 4 points. Um, so I want to bring up a few other things. a few other topics from yesterday. Once again, another free kick that was absolutely abysmal. Someone needs to tell Bruno Fernandes to fuck off. Be-
I'm starting to think it might be a Portuguese thing.
Christian Eriksen should be taking our free kicks. End of
Yeah,
story. But uh, like I've suspected, I think I've said this before on the show. He's
mm,
just too nice a guy. He doesn't demand the ball the way that Ronaldo and Bruno have done.
yeah,
But he should be the man taking those free kicks, and because these free kicks from Ronaldo previously and Bruno now are just absolutely shocking, aren't they?
yeah. I've not liked a set piece taker probably since one matter.
Yeah, he was a brilliant free kick taker, but
Yeah,
obviously that's not an option anymore. Yeah, you want to see your best set piece, expert taking the free kicks.
yeah, most definitely. And if you haven't got one of those, then revert to the training ground and come up with something else. You don't always have to directly go for goal and shoot. Work it.
Yeah, and they've got Ruben Neves, who was had a brilliant effort from a free kick
Yep,
yesterday, which De Gea done really well to save. I think another free kick that he went for power and went straight into the wall. But he's dangerous from outside the box, isn't he? And
very much so. Yeah,
you don't want to give him opportunities from either in play or set pieces. But yeah, United defended well yesterday, and Rashford came off the bench to win us the game. So it was like a classic away win. And I said before the match that I don't care how we get the points here, just as long as we do.
yeah, most definitely. That's the most important thing at the moment, isn't it?
I'm not looking for a scintillating 4-5-0.
Yeah,
We can do that in the home games. When it comes to away games, so I'll take any sort of win. And we dug it out and we got the result. Um, so yeah, Casemiro had another good game as well, didn't he?
yep, yep. I was happy with him and Ericsson.
Yeah, Ericsson was very good, and Bruno. What did you make of Bruno Fernandes's
And,
performance
I
yesterday?
don't. Some people are really going in on Bruno. I know there's one or two things that he does that are frustrating and they stand out. But overall, I don't think he had that bad of a game.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he was as bad as what some people are making out.
Yeah, because
But yeah,
I was a bit surprised at some of the criticism coming his way yesterday. And I didn't think he was that bad.
sometimes with Bruno, it's when it comes to fan analysis,
Mm.
he's either absolutely 10 out of 10 or he's a 1 out of 10. There just
Yeah,
never seems to be any in
I was
between.
trying to get my head around it, Carl. I think what it might be is that I think people remember that initial impact he had when he came, with where the numbers were just out of this world with regards to the goals and assists and everything. And because that has dried up, I think, they view it a bit differently. But when you actually break down his game as a midfielder, the other things he's done, he's all right. He's ticking along nicely for me.
Well, I am hoping that he will get back to that
Yeah.
goals and assists output now that
Oh,
Ronaldo's gone,
of course. If you could add to it as well, that would be brilliant.
because his numbers definitely stagnated once Ronaldo came in. I think one of the reasons for that is because Bruno loves to have runners that he can play them in behind, and Ronaldo doesn't offer that option to him.
Yeah, and
Um,
there was times where both of them liked occupying similar spaces.
yeah, and both love to shoot from long range and occupy the same zones, like you say, and yeah, they don't seem to link up very well. Occasionally they did, but not
Yeah,
very often. But yeah, Bruno can now be the main man again. Being that second striker, scoring
yeah,
goals
that's
and
what we
getting
need.
assists.
And what a big difference that would make if he can grab at least 10 goals.
Yeah, he needs to recover that form. He hasn't got many
Yeah,
goals this season.
no,
Rashford really needs some help at the moment, doesn't he? It's just
yeah.
he's all on his own.
I'll tell you what, it's testament to Marcus because I wasn't even sure if he had it in him to put up the kind of numbers that he's doing at the moment. So yeah, it's a very welcome change.
Yeah, his confidence is absolutely sky high at the moment.
Yeah.
And the defenders must be frightened of him whenever he starts running
Mm.
at them with pace. And yeah, it doesn't get talked about that much. But Rashford has lovely skill as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of variety with the skill. So
Yeah, yeah. He's just been a very frustrating player in the past because like I say, the decision making has not been there.
yeah, but yeah, he's 25 now. Maybe he's
Mm,
matured and he's learned to make better decisions. S- Sometimes he'll run down blind alleys and try to beat every single opponent by
mm,
himself and doesn't pass when he should.
mhm.
But not doing that as often now. But now even when he is taking on the whole team, he's scoring at the end of it, so it doesn't matter.
There's end product, and that's what we want, really, isn't it? So yeah, again, huge credit to the coach.
Definitely. Another thing worth mentioning was when Fred came on yesterday for Ericsson. I thought he had a really good impact.
Yep,
I
yep.
thought,
Liked his energy, liked what he's bringing to the table.
yeah, and his touch was very good as well. Sometimes you
Mm.
never know what way Fred's touch is going to be. Is it going to be off today? It's going to be
Yeah,
on today.
yeah.
But yeah, he he helped us. Him and Rashford, had probably won us the game. Um, apart from obviously the defense.
Mm,
So yeah, I was pleased with Fred's impact. Um, Donny van der Beek came off the bench as well. He seen at least now he's he's a regular player coming off the bench. So
yeah.
often on the previous managers he either wasn't on the bench at all or he was an unused sub. Now
Hmm.
he actually has a purpose under Ten Hag. I'd really love to see him score a goal. I think his most impressive, appearance this season was in the previous match. I think an substitute appearance there against who did we play?
Forest.
Forest. Yeah, that was his best game for a
Yeah,
while. And he done okay yesterday as well.
yeah.
So yeah, we're going to need him. Like we've talked about already. We've got cup games coming up and a
Hmm.
chance to rotate, and he'll play his part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
He's definitely going to get game time. Ericsson, we need to manage him, and that's the really important thing. And I've been quite impressed actually with the game management, with the changes that are being made.
yeah, definitely the substitutions are having an impact
Mm.
and winning us games. So
Yeah, regarding Donny as well, obviously it's very hard when you're coming in as a sub, but with regular minutes, I'm hoping he gets up to speed with the rest of the team and that because there was one break yesterday where I didn't think he made the best decision in the pass that he picked out.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, he'll improve
Yeah,
his sharpness once he gets
yeah,
more
but
game
that's
minute.
something that will come with game time. So yeah, I don't have too many concerns. But yeah, things like that, yeah, that when we're on the break, you need to. It's a split second decision, isn't it? He had like three outlets and he chose the wrong one.
And it was only a few weeks ago we thought Wan Bissaka and Van der Beek's careers were over at Old Trafford, and
Yeah,
all of a
yeah,
sudden, Wan Bissaka is starting every game, and Donny's coming off the bench in every game. So it just shows you how quickly things can change. You know,
yeah,
a,
absolutely.
a week's a long time at Old Trafford.
Hmm.
um, Ilanga and Maguire come off the bench on 93 minutes. Basically, time wasting subs. That was a bit risky though. When you're defending a corner and you're making two substitutions, that scared me a little. Um,
Yeah,
because it's like the number one rule in football: you don't make a sub when you're defending a corner. But yeah, you've got to say that Alanga needs a loan, and Maguire's future now is starting to look bleak, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Especially now with Shaw in there as well. That's a yet another body in front of him. Again, due to the thinness of the squad, I don't think Jan would be the best time to get rid, especially because I have no faith in the current board to make any kind of adequate replacement signing. So it's a thing that I would address in the summer. But in the summer, yes, there are questions to be asked there, and I think the player himself would probably want first team football elsewhere. So,
Yeah, I think if Gareth Southgate left him out of the England squad, then he
mm,
would start to push for a move. I
mhm,
think.
mhm.
But again, you said Maguire and the love sitting together on the bench, and under Ollie, they were the first choice centre back. So
Yeah,
it has shown signs that really shows the progression that we've made.
mhm.
That we've like Varane and Martinez are just different quality to those two. Let's be honest. So we're getting better. You know, there's better individuals have come into the team. The new signings have done well, and collectively we're playing a lot better than we were in previous seasons.
The one thing I will credit him for is that he's not complained about it. He's remained professional whenever he's called upon, even if it is in the 92nd minute or whatever. He's not pulled any faces. He's not been stroppy. He's just come on and did what's asked of him every time.
Yeah, and I suppose you could say he played his role yesterday, but when De
Yeah.
Gea made that save, he put the
Mm-hmm.
ball into the stands afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So he done his bit, you could say. But yeah, I'm sure privately he's not very happy with a left back starting ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any player's happy when they left on the bench, are they? So, yeah, yeah.
But he's one of those players that when he leaves United, he's not going to go to Real Madrid. He's going to go down into like a mid-table Premier League team. So maybe
I,
he's just grateful to be at
I,
United.
I tell you what, having seen the Leicester game the other day, they could use him.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Their centre half had an absolute shocker.
You're telling me?
Uh, no, because I was out on the Friday, so I was checking the scores, and I was like, oh, what's this about? And then when I actually saw it back, I was infuriated.
Yeah, two own goals in
Yeah,
7 minutes.
somebody needs to check what betting apps that guy has on his phone.
I haven't seen that since Jimmy Carragher in 1999 scored two for us.
Yeah, but listen, the first one, I mean, absolutely shocking communication between him and his keeper. There was no need for him to get involved at all. The second one, it was harder to do what he did, surely.
Yeah, and then you have these diehard Liverpool fans, so you have the cheek to call United lucky, and they always get VAR decisions. Yet they just benefit from the same players going two on goals in 7 minutes.
And massive 3 points as well. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crucial for us to keep winning
Mm-hmm.
to keep them at bay. Keep the gap between us. We don't want them overtaking us. I've got used to being ahead of Liverpool now, and I want to keep it that way. So we just do some player ratings now. David De Gea gets an 8 for me. Wan-Bissaka a 7. Varane an 8. Luke Shaw an 8. Terrell Malacia a 5. Ericsson a 7. Casemiro 7. Bruno Fernandes a 6. Anthony a 4. Martial a 4. Garnacho a 6. Marcus Rashford gets a 9. And Fred would probably get at least a 7 for his impact as well. And Ten
Yeah.
Hag would probably get a 7 as well because his substitutions won us the game. And very impressed with his consistency. Whenever there's minor disciplinary issues, he treats everyone the same, whether it be Garnacho, Ronaldo, or Rashford, or whoever. He's been consistent, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite funny actually. I was on the United agenda yesterday doing some player ratings straight after the game, and I think everyone's so happy with everything that was happening. I think they settled on the back four being all eights all round as a unit collectively. And now sitting back going through your ratings, I was like, yeah, this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, Malacia definitely wasn't in it yesterday. We have to be
Yeah,
fair.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think it was more so the collective thing where everyone was just really happy with how they worked as a unit. But yeah, if we were just picking out individually, I think he would have been the lowest rated out of the four. But yeah, I'd agree with that. Very happy with Casemiro and Ericsson. They're just we're just expecting it now from them, aren't we? And that's brilliant. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
the two poorest ones, yeah, like we said, it was the two Anthonys that stood out. Um, the key players for me, Rashford and De Gea.
Yeah, 100%. They were the match winners on the day.
Yeah.
So I just want to get on to a bit of breaking news that arrived in the last hour or so is that Martin Dubravka is going back to Newcastle. They've recalled him.
Okay.
I don't think too many United fans will be upset about that one.
No, I mean, to be honest, there was times where we were scratching our heads as to why on earth there was two keepers on the bench. Um,
Yeah,
for me, Tom Heaton is an able deputy. There's no need for somebody else.
Yeah, I would go along with that. What remains to be seen if Ten Hag is satisfied with that or not.
Yeah, yeah, it'll
Um,
be interesting to see what they do, if anything. But I mean, I think first protocol would just be to promote Tom to first choice backup, and then maybe one of the under 23 kids or something as the third.
yeah, I think Nathan Bishop is going to be the third
Mhm.
choice.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's fine for me.
so yeah, Dubravka played two games in the League Cup, and particularly the second one, it was
Yeah,
a very ropey performance.
yeah.
Um,
And also with Dubravka as well, it's an interesting debate actually now, conversation with some of our fans who kept going on and on and on about, the importance of playing out from the back and all these things that they see in Liverpool and City.
yeah, a lot of fans are split on the importance of playing it from the back.
Yeah.
Personally, you need to have the right personnel to do it
Hmm.
successfully.
Yeah.
Um, and does Ten Hag really want a keeper who can do that? Even keepers who do that well, occasionally they will give the ball away and it will result
Yeah.
in a goal. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't mind the game,
Yeah.
kicking it into the other half of the pitch and targeting the front man. What would be really useful would be a number nine who could hold the ball up,
Hmm.
so De Gea could find
Hmm.
someone.
And even some
Martial
of the
doesn't even
old
compete.
Yeah, and listen, even some of the alternatives like that we've heard about, like the guy at Porto, Diogo Costa. I've been watching a fair bit of him since we've been linked and stuff, and he's only 22, and there's a lot of aspects to his game that he needs to improve. Like De Gea, for a goalkeeper, is not that old. He's only 32. The main issue that I had with him was the wages that he's currently on. But if he's willing to bring that down and compromise, I don't see why we don't just keep him.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense now that Ten Hag is leaning towards keeping De Gea.
Yeah.
I've heard, was
Yeah,
it
if he's got the faith of the manager as well, I don't think it's a big issue. There's other areas that need addressing more than that. So yeah,
because there are no goalkeepers available who are flawless. So
no,
the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
no, and yeah, we're in a weird era where there are no like young Buffons coming up. There's no one I can just point at and go, oh, that's the guy.
And the Diogo Costa you talked about,
Yeah,
he did not have a good World Cup.
he didn't have a good World Cup. Just before the World Cup, I was watching a Champions League game where he conceded straight from a corner. It was kind of mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't be binning off De Gea and spend big money on him. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
especially because he signed a new contract as well, right? And his new contract comes with a 75 million euro release clause.
No, no, thank you.
It's madness.
Do you know what? De Gea's going to end up being at United for 20 years, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, yeah, I certainly wouldn't mind.
And I like the way that he's willing to take a reduced salary to stay at the club.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. See, things like that speaks to me, speaks to his character as well.
Yeah, definitely. So another story that came out in the Daily Mirror over the weekend is that Ayrton Hag has taken charge of Manchester United's reserve team in a bid to open up a better pathway into the senior side. The Dutchman has revealed how he told Old Trafford bosses during the negotiations last spring that he would only agree to become the new boss if he was given full control of the club's under 23 squad. That's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, because we've discussed this before, Carl. This is what proper managers do. This is the blueprint to success. This is what Man City have done. This is what Pep has done. This is what Arteta has then implemented at Arsenal. And this is yeah, it's the right direction to go in. Once you streamline that, the players that get promoted, if they play the same system, same way throughout the all of the stages, then when they come into the first team, it will be the ideal situation for them.
This is essentially how Ajax is run, and
Yeah,
we should be copying that blueprint. And seems like
absolutely, absolutely. This is footballing fundamentals, is what this is.
you know, you think the club could have come to this epiphany before Ten Hag came in.
Mm.
It's just been 9 years of just random approaches. No joined up thinking. Just now to think about it, it's the most obvious thing in the world. To
Yeah,
have.
yeah. And the thing is, it shouldn't solely be the responsibility of the manager as well. We do need to fix our structure so that these things are always continuous.
Yes, this is what a director of football puts in place,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we don't have a real one.
But we don't have a proper one. So yeah, these are the kind of things that need to happen. Because especially in this day and age, like on average, it doesn't matter who you are as a manager. Longevity wise, you probably have 3 or 4 years before you move on. So the consistency comes from having that structure. Who they can then identify what the philosophy is and what it is that it means and stuff, and you can outline these things. Like for instance, when the time comes to move on from Ten Hag, maybe you look for another manager with a similar profile and playing style, you know, for continuity purposes.
Yeah, it's a bit like Brighton as an example.
Mm,
They have a director of football in place, and their academy, their reserves, and the first team are all joined up. They all play the same way, and
yeah,
then the director of football brings in a coach that would be similar to the previous one, so it's
yeah.
all very consistent. Whereas we were bringing in all these different managers with different styles, and it was all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah. It was just a mix and match. It was just they were just chucking everything at it, just randomly with no planning, no structure. And it's a great example you mentioned there, Carl, with Brighton, because when it wasn't just Potter, it was the whole team that left. Right, there was a whole bunch of them, his staff that left. So on paper, you'd think, oh, these lot are going to struggle. It's all going to fall apart, but they've not really. And yeah, the manager and the people they've brought in, they've kept it pretty similar.
Yeah, and they keep unearthing these hidden gems as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The Japanese kid looks really good. Mitoma. He scored
yeah,
yesterday. Yeah.
Celtic keep bringing in players on the Japanese market, and
Mm.
they're doing really well. So that'd be something that we could consider in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, need
um,
to start casting our net far and wide, not just the obvious markets.
yeah, not just like Germany and France and Spain. We need to look a
Yeah.
bit further afield. Um, Now, here's another story. I'm not sure how reliable it is. It's come from the Mail. Is it Manchester United are here? We hear this phrase quite often.
Mm.
Manchester United are monitoring developments
Oh,
with
bloody hell. As soon as you said monitoring. Oh,
monitoring FC.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
So Manchester United monitoring developments with striker Marcus Thuram, the
okay.
French international that
Okay.
they appreciate Mönchengladbach,
Yeah.
who was a regular sub for them in the World Cup, and
His
he
dad
came
was an
on.
absolute legend.
Yeah,
So with Marcus, I know he can play across the front three. His contract is actually up at the end of the season, and I believe he's the second highest goal scorer in the Bundesliga this year.
yeah, well, that's very impressive.
Mm.
But again, what's it going to be? Can we have him on loan, please, and we'll give you some money in the summer?
I mean,
Um,
knowing him, I think he's about 25 as well. He'll probably want to see out this season and then get that big move. So he probably wouldn't want to go anywhere in Jan.
yeah, maybe not. But yeah, we need to get someone in.
Yeah, we
If
need
this,
somebody in.
even if it is Memphis Depay on loan, I'll take it right now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he will provide goals. He'll have a point to prove because his
Mhm.
first spell at United didn't go very well.
Yeah, yeah. Because the thing with Marcus is, I mean, yeah, I can understand why we're linked, or just in general because of his contract running down. But in this day and age, when you're in your 20s and your contract's running down, it's like winning the lottery, isn't it? You kind of want to just keep all options possible, uh, and see all the offers in that. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
and get a huge signing on fee as
Yeah,
well.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, that as well. So I don't think you'd want to risk that and leave like 6 months earlier. You might as well see out the season and then see how it goes.
Okay, hopefully we do get someone in January because we absolutely need to. Because, like I say,
Yeah,
we've got one forward who's in form, and that's worrying. We're relying on Rashford, De Gea, and the defense to win his games,
yeah,
because we're just not the goals are just not coming from the midfield or the other forwards. So
yeah. The only departures I'd like to see are like the fringe of the fringe, like like your Axel Twinzavies, who for the sake of his own career needs to move on now.
yeah, or if Filanga goes on loan to Everton or something, then
Yeah,
bring a Mad in to replace him, something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we probably have to ask what's happening with Facundo. Could he go out on loan? Or if Elaga leaves, then does that mean you got Facundo just there, who might potentially get an opportunity?
Well, the manager's not even putting him on the bench anymore. So
Nah. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. We've seen him more for Uruguay than we have for United.
yeah, I mean, we've seen Kobe Manu on the bench
Yep,
again
yep.
yesterday because he impressed the manager in training. Well, that's telling me that Palestri is not really impressing the manager in
Mm,
training.
mm,
So I just don't think he's going to get a chance at United. But no, things can change quickly. We've seen it happen with Wan-Bissaka and
yeah,
Donny van de Beek. So we'll leave it there for today. Everyone can please subscribe to the podcast and comment your thoughts down below and drop us a wee like on the video. We will see everyone again after the Bournemouth game. Okay, see you later,
yeah.
Brush.
Bring on Bournemouth. Yeah, take care.